Even though many people did not and still do not understand how a picture of the Campbell soup can or a series of repeated images of Marilyn Monroe, flowers, or dollar signs is considered art, Andy Warhol fed off of that confusion, and it served as the purpose behind his work, to make the viewer stop and think about the piece rather than to just gaze at it, make comment on how pretty it looks, and then walk away to look at another piece of art. Andy Warhol pushed artistic boundaries that no one ever even thought of or even dared to cross, making him an art legend. His expression of pop art was a revolutionary movement that caused individuals to reconsider what art truly meant and to see the world a little less black and white. Andy Warhol was born on August 6, 1928 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. As a young boy, he loved to draw, color, and cut and paste pictures and was encouraged to do so by his mother, who was also an artist. Although Warhol was quite an outcast with a quiet presence and white blonde hair, he was always found to have a sketchbook in his hand, drawing the world he saw in front of him on a daily basis. After taking classes at Carnegie Institute of Technology, he graduated in 1949 with a pictorial design degree. During Warhol's college years, he discovered the blotted line technique, which would result as an image of irregular lines in organic art forms. He would then color in these shapes with watercolors, and little did he know at the time that this playful experimentation would eventually define his work as a pop artist. In the 1950s, after Warhol moved to New York, he began earning a reputation for using this technique, which would eventually lead to silkscreening that would be used in commercial advertisements. Some of his most popular pieces were the Campbell soup can as previously shown, alongside Coke bottles and Brillo cracker boxes. Andy Warhol had many famous followers who loved his work and his caring, eccentric personality. However, not everyone took to Warhol or his work, as he received many negative comments about his art. Many people could not fathom why Warhol's pieces were considered art, as the world had established Renaissance paintings and Impressionism as the definition of art. Andy would often back up his work with statements such as, "If you want to know all about Andy Warhol, just look at the surface of my paintings and my films and me, and I am there. There's nothing behind it." People were so confused by Mr. Warhol's work that it actually intrigued the viewer to continue looking at the piece, which is what a great piece of art truly does. On July 3, 1968, Valerie Salonis walked into Warhol's studio, known as The Factory, and shot Andy in the chest. His friends and fans were distraught.
It's a terribly shocking blow for us. He was a man we can only consider to be in the midst of life. You know, he's there around us all the time. We see him and we know him and we talk to him, we feel his presence. He has a kind of magic presence, and that's partly why this kind of circumstance could have occurred. People were attracted to him. He kind of magical presence about him, a kind of sweetness and light that emerged from his character in all its shyness. And he had this kind of glow about him, which made him tremendously appealing as a person.
Luckily, this shot did not kill Warhol, but stunted his artistic motivation for some time. It affected his spirit in a way that was sometimes inspiration to his work, and sometimes extremely detrimental. Andy Warhol stated, "Before I was shot, I always thought that I was more half there than all there. I always suspected that I was watching TV instead of living life. Right when I was being shot and ever since, I knew that I was watching television." During the 1970s and 80s, Warhol continued to paint. However, on February 22, 1987, Andy Warhol died after going under a routine gallbladder surgery. He was only 58 years old. Andy Warhol lived a full and successful life. Although he was often seen as not a true artist, the truth is that some people do not understand the true purpose behind art, expression. Warhol opened doors that allow people to break away from the normalcy of art and allow for expression in more creative ways. As our society today has become slowly more open-minded, in 2011 his artwork has become extremely prevalent. Warhol's art, along with his spirit, has lived on and will continue to do so for centuries to come.